Peace, everybody. What's up? Peace, peace, peace. How y'all doing? I'll give y'all a second. Give me a second. Get myself together. But how are you all doing on this evening? A second, real quick. Hope y'all doing good today. Peace, peace, peace. What's going on? See, much love from Texas King Wizard. Peace to you. Peace. I am Mac. Peace, everybody. Peace, peace, peace. How are y'all doing? Let me see. I'm just giving everybody a little second. We're going to get into it. I don't really have a specific topic, but I just thought I'd go live, just chit-chat with you all for a minute. So, you know, let me see. I was thinking about, I probably should do live on my Facebook sometimes, which I never do, or YouTube or anything else. Peace, peace. I appreciate everybody who let me know about the fake page, because I had no idea that, you know, there was impersonator pages out there, and I definitely don't want anybody giving any money to any fake pages out there. So let me see. I didn't know there was so much to do on this, but anyway, I don't even have a topic for y'all. I'm just here. Just wanted to talk with y'all, see if it was anything y'all want to talk about. I made quite a few posts this week, so if it's anything anybody want to talk about, anybody want to ask me about, we can do that, you know. But yeah, I was trying to set this up for me for all right, so first of all, though, I don't think I've ever fully talked to you all as far as like a credentials type of thing, where I'm coming from. So I just thought I'd kind of do that a little bit. So a lot of y'all have just been introduced to me, but my name is Rakia, so I go by Queen, or Know Thyself Queen. Some people know me as Queen Raw. But before the Cosmic Paradox page, my page was the Black Occultist. So, you know, I just kind of did a little rebrand and really decided I wanted to kind of step out there and share my journey with people. Because even though I've been on this path for like 12, 13 years, I'm to the point now where I want to share, you know, where I know that I have to share. I didn't want to jump out and do things prematurely, you know, without doing self-work and things like that, you know, to have, you know, shallow motivations, you know. So I wanted it to be real. Just had to make sure that this was something that I was really supposed to do, so to speak. So here I am, you know. So, you know, I got a biology degree. I got a master's degree in sports health science and nutrition, which I never really talk about, but I do. And I'm a board certified holistic psychology practitioner. Well, holistic alternative psychology practitioner. So I specifically work with people through a practical method of holistic psychology to bring your mind, body, soul, spirit, all of that, releasing childhood traumas, that type of thing. So I've never done that speaking directly to my audience, so I just wanted to tell everybody that. And if y'all see me look this way, I'm looking at a different camera because I'm on live on Facebook. So I just wanted to do that, just to let everybody know, you know. So I just wanted to be clear on that. I've been studying metaphysics and the occult now for like 12 years. I know people don't know this, but I'm actually an ordained minister. My husband, he's an ordained minister too. So we're metaphysical ministers. We've never moved off of that though, because, and I think that's probably going to change because, you can't let people push back, stop you. You can't let how people continue to try to conform you to stop you from doing what you need to do. So, that's something else. The Ethiopian calendar. Yeah, that was some very interesting information. A lot of people was beating me up on them time posts. A lot of people was beating me up on the time posts, which I get it. It's fine. Everybody not going to understand everything. And that's cool. So the people who were supposed to get the message got the message. But that was another extension of that, to understand that we are putting the box on what we, quote unquote, is calling time. It's a time of measure. What does a cult mean for you? For me, a cult just simply means hidden. So pretty much any hidden information or, information that's pushed off to the side, discarded, that they hide from you purposely, I consider all that occult information. So I consider myself a de-occultist because I break that down. I reveal what the symbols and all of that mean. I don't have any obligation to any type of sisterhood or any order or anything like that. I just know what I know from reading, studying 10 to 12 years. So I thought it's just best that I share, because over the years I've helped a lot of people, and a lot of people, they let me know how much it helps them. And so it's only right that I do that, So I had to do a lot of self-work for me to be ready and to be comfortable and to be confident. So, my skin is thick. So when people be talking they trash, it's cool. It doesn't really bother me, because when you do shadow work, right? When you do that, when you address your ego, there's nothing nobody can say to me that I haven't already said to myself. So knowing that, my ego has prepared me well, so my skin is thick and I'm good. I can take what they say, what they dish out, because it's nothing but they triggers and they trauma. And I know I'm doing what I'm supposed to do, so it don't bother me none. How to get the light from the darkness? Well, the light comes out of the darkness, The light comes out of that darkness. Really what it is when you in that darkness, you realize you are the light. That's really the truth. You realize that you the light coming from you. And once you get to that realization point, then it's all on from there. You know what I'm saying? It's like turning the light on in a dark room. Peace, blessings from Australia. Peace and love to Australia. Do you have a one God belief? Bro, I just see it as, I don't personify God the way most people do. There's a source. So everything, the way I see it, everything comes from that source, whether we deem it good or bad. I think that's a perspective and a subjective viewpoint. So, but I absolutely believe that there's a source of energy for everything. I also believe there is order in the chaos. So if that kind of clarifies it, so in a sense, I do have faith, I do have trust, because I can't see these things, these things are only evident by what I feel. So although I don't subscribe to a religion, I do have a spiritual system that works for me. It's just uniquely catered to me. I developed my own spiritual system. I developed that for myself. So, a lot of people, I can talk to people in multiple walks of life, and I can connect with them because I love studying other cultures and other belief systems. I absolutely love it. And if we are a people, if we spiritually speaking, if we were broken apart in so many different pieces, so many different fragments, there has to be fragments of who we are and everything. That's my analysis, You have created your own religion. I wouldn't go that far. That's a different discussion I don't really want to get into. But there is a book that really talks about that. I just can't put my finger on what that book is at the moment. But I'm going to find it. I'm going to share it in my story later. Do I read Manly P. Hall? Yes. I highly advise a lot of people to read it. I know we think what we think about Freemasonry or whatever, but you gotta think about it like this. A lot of the hidden information was hidden in that means it was like a way to keep the information going, but a lot of us are still triggered. A lot of us still have a lot of spiritual trauma, a lot of religious trauma, a lot of trauma around religion, so it's hard. But I do study Manly P. Hall. The Secret Teachers of All Ages, That book has stuck with me for over a decade, and I can still find myself going back to it. Like after I've been through some things, I can go back to it and still get something new from it. So it's yeah, I definitely look into that one, bro. My copy is missing the cover and everything, man. So that's one of my when you really do get into like what they consider a cult, you know, the that type of thing, it's a good one to start with. Helped the most during my journey, meditation, astral travel. I think it was my spiritual practices, but I had to learn my own spiritual practices, if that make any sense. Like when you talk about meditation, right? The power of meditation is so powerful, but it's so different for different people. And I guess it's because of the way we live. You know, we live off devices, our technology, everything is go, 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 especially if you're in America, in the United States. So if you're in the United States of America, it's extremely hard to settle and just be still. But if you learn that, see, what I gather from, I'm going to tell you this. Breathing get me through everything. Breathing. Spirituality is nothing but breath. And one of the main things that taught me this was childbirth. Delivering during childbirth. See, I got 4 kids, you know. So my last 2 kids, you know, I was way more aware. You know, I had them naturally, you know, so no medicine. So only thing that gets you through the pain is breathing. And I found that translates in every level of life. You gotta stop and just breathe. As simple as it is, breathe. Like really learn to breathe. Breathe different. You know how you watch Paid in Full? You remember when got shot? He was like, bro, I breathe different. It's like that. You gotta breathe. It's a different type of breath. Because most of us shallow breathe, you know, and that actually creates more anxiety. But when you really know how to breathe, it's a book on it. This one right here. This is a good book. The Science of Breath. Complete Manual of the Ancient Breathing Philosophy of the East. This is a good book. This is a good book on breathing. But spirituality is nothing but breathing, in a sense, so to speak. And your religion is what you do consistently, what you do all the time. So when that's how I simplified it down, so I could have a system that works for me. You know, so it's all about what can work for you. But breathing is powerful, bro. Breathing is so powerful because everything you do, you're always breathing. So that really helps. Like even when you're dealing with crisis situation, like knowing how to breathe can help keep you calm. You know, your blood can flow better. You can make better decisions. So that goes a lot. Okay. When y'all inbox me to ask questions, sometimes it might take me a minute. I do get a lot of questions, and sometimes I end up looking and I intend to reply. I might leave and come back. I got a little ADHD. But just hit me again or either send me an email. I'm more likely to respond via email. If anybody want to do any shows, you know, any lives, any one-on-ones, I don't know if you got a platform. I'm very open to speaking and talking on other people's platforms and getting involved with other people, you know, in the community who want to talk about similar topics. So I'm open to all of that, just to kind of put that out there. I've been studying Black Indian shit is dope. Bro, listen, that's a rabbit hole, man. And I've never seen so much resistance than the resistance I find on the topic of the American Black Indians. They come out of the woodworks. They're going to come and tell you who you are. I don't know what makes them feel like they have the authority to come and tell you who you are, but they're going to come and try to tell you who you are. So I find myself all the time in those conversations telling people we are not a monolith. Every black person is not the same, but we get so caught up in this skin tone. We get so caught up in skin, period, that we get stopped and we can't see a lot of information. You know what I'm saying? So, and plus it's different for... We don't like. I highly recommend everybody do pre-colonial American history. Study it for yourself, outside of the institution, because the institution has a very romanticized view of what your history is. And it's not a coincidence that everybody's supposed to stick to the same story. But I highly advise you to do your own thing. Look into it yourself. Because when you really look into that pre-colonial American history, it gets trippy. And you got to think about it. All of us not even from the same region. If you're from the Mississippi area, you may have a very different history than somebody from, like me, from North Carolina, where the original 13 colonies were, versus somebody who was over in the Louisiana area. Like, it's so different. It is absolutely not what they tell us. That's all I can pretty much say. So it is what it is. But when you really get to looking, they want you to stick to one story. And we pretty much know why that is, but, or we can pretty much guess why that is, but at the end of the day, we pretty much, I highly advise everybody to study outside the institution. Study outside the institution. Yes, a lot of real Louisiana African voodoo, but also, like, you had Sephardic Jews who settled in pre-colonial America. You know what I mean? It's just not the way they tell. It's so much more complex than what they tell us. I promise. And it's not something I want to just jump into, because it's such a deep topic, and it's such a trigger for so many people that, it's kind of one of them things where you really got to be ready for the resistance. So one day I'm going to sit down and talk. I probably will sit down and we'll really do a talk about it, but you got to have your ammunition ready, because people will come. They're going to come and tell you who you are. But like they say on the Matrix can't tell you who you are. Period. They can't tell you. So me personally, I did some digging into my genealogy to see for myself. So that's why I say just do your own thing. I absolutely believe everything happens for a reason. So that's why I say I'm different. I think everything happens for a reason. I think nothing is here that's not. So I think everything is going accordingly, even if it feels bad, even if it feels off. I think it's going accordingly, because when you get into certain information about ancient civilizations and what that was prophesizing about humanity, and you talk about the cycles of humanity every 25,000 years and all of that, it gets, it can get in line. But what it does, it just opens your mind to other possibilities. And I think that's the important thing. The important thing, I never want to tell anybody what to think. I just want you to think for yourself. It doesn't matter what you, just think for you. Come to your conclusion for yourself. Take your own mind back. That's all I ever aim for. You don't got to agree with me. That's why I share a lot of information. So my information, and I say a lot of times, you do with that what you will. So people like me, we acquire information and we take what's useful and we utilize it and we keep moving. Everybody may not be like that, but for the people that are like that, for the people that appreciate information, they'll appreciate the page. They'll appreciate the information. Yep, absolutely. It's a lot of manipulation with the doctrines. That's the purpose of them. It's the purpose of them, and people hold on to them for dear life. They hold on to them for dear life. Like it destroys it destroys their whole reality. So some of them, we have to leave them where they are, and we have to be okay with it. Feel away spiritually. It started to happen for me. I started to ask questions like 2005, like 2004, 2005, but I wasn't in an environment that was like, really kind of nurturing to that. So about 2009, I started to dig in 2009. So the second half of the year, 2009, I started buying books. First book I bought was Behold a Pale White Horse. It was the first book I bought. So from there, it kind of trickled, And I think everybody starts off with the conspiracy. I think we all start off becoming aware of how the government has lied to us, how something of history has been a lie. And from there, it's like a domino effect. You're like, well, damn, how much are they lying about? How much lies is in here? And then that's how you fall down that hole. You fall. So, you can get. I'm the type of person, like I say, if it's useful to me, I'm gonna use it. But I've done a study. I've done a lot of study in occult. I think that's just my path, though. It just suits me so much. I don't advise it for everybody, but it suits me so much. It does. It truly does. And that rabbit hole is very deep, bro. It's very deep. Like, it's so deep. And then when you start seeing all the interconnected, all the lines, and you see the possibilities, and your mind becomes... See, what it does, it makes your mind like a quantum computer. See, they program us to be like a regular computer. That's off duality. That's off yes, no, ones and zeros. You know, it's either this or that. But once you start diving into the occult, your mind becomes like a quantum computer. So otherworldly things become a possibility when you have a quantum mind. Because it's working like a quantum computer. Look up a quantum computer. A quantum computer can find answers from otherworldly possibilities. You see what I'm saying? So it's a magician mind when they get to talking about a quantum mind, when they're talking about quantum physics. You know, when they studying quantum physics, it's almost like studying what the concept of voodoo is. See, when people, they'll say things is, you know, oh, that metaphysical stuff is pseudo. It's not, though. It's really not. It's just too advanced of a science for most to even understand. Like, your highest level of science has to study this quantum physics. Like, everybody ain't out here studying no quantum physics, but they're utilizing quantum physics. That's the whole point of CERN. CERN is something, it's a machine that's trying to mimic what your mind is capable of. Your mind is capable of opening up a portal. It's only able to emulate what already is. You feel me? So, and I appreciate the donations to the Cash App. I appreciate y'all for that. I appreciate that. I absolutely do. It's hard trying to create your own life and provide a source of information and be able to stay steady and live and survive off of it. They make it hard in this world. So just to say that, I appreciate y'all for the donations that come through. If you want to send it to the Cash App, my Cash App is Know Thyself Universe. There is a fake page out there impersonating me. I will not inbox you all and ask you, talk to you about a reading. I'm not going to tell y'all I can tell you your future. I'm not going to do that. That's not me. Please do not respond to any profile that's pretending to be me. And on my profile, it says my only page. So don't let them play y'all. But, you know, and back to what I was saying, you know, so with the whole CERN thing. So they say they're trying to open up portals. Understand that you can open up portals. Understand that's what you're capable of. You literally can walk into a portal and change everything about your life. So it's only imitating what already is. You know, because when you make your mind like a magician, like an alchemist, you have a quantum computer mind. You able to do way much more than you're supposed to be able to, because they program us with so much self-doubt, so much self-hate, so much, and they keep us in a fear loop. It's always something every single day just trying to scare people every day, and they using different things. They have to, because everything is like this, and everybody got ADHD, and it's always a new story, a new news cycle, everything. I mean, think about it. Not too long ago, many decades ago, TV did not stay on 24 hours a day. We have TV all day long. They run news cycles all day long. You know, so just in that sense, it has a strong effect on the human psyche. You know, but do not let them toy with you. They love to put you in a state of fear. That's why I shared that Matrix. See, it's just like the Matrix. It's literally just like the Matrix, but it's not about machines. We don't call them machines. If you get into the occult, they're called archons. And they feed off of the energy of humanity. So anytime you get in an emotional flare state, anytime, don't matter even if it's good, or even if it's bad, doesn't matter. It's energy. It's for them to feed off of it. So, you know, I'm going to do this one day. I'm going to do a breakdown on this one day. They program ADHD into them cartoons. You're probably right. Everything, it seems like everything, the food, everything is playing a role in it. Down to the sugars in the food. You know, the sugar is one molecule away from cocaine. That's why it's so addictive. It's one molecule away from cocaine. And we wonder why we are addicted to our foods. You know, just like I said in the post, Food and Drug Administration. They giving us drugs in the food to make our minds jump around. I can see that. But yeah, I feel like the Matrix break down that whole archon thing. So when you look at the new Matrix, he was saying, when he was telling them about having a nightmare, why you have a nightmare, and then it's like that fear trigger. The worse you feel, the more energy you produce, because that's your chaos energy. That's your energy. See, they know who and what we are. So when people say that, they know what we are, what we're capable of. They know, like, you have a whole electromagnetic field. You are a battery. You understand? Like, the power that's within your being is like a nuke, but we don't know that. You see, because we're not taught that, because we're taught this very mundane, physical, little small box to keep us very limited in what we are. So you have to dig to do that, because that's going to free you. That type of information is going to free you. The Matrix movie is a documentary. Yeah, I do see it so much. I mean, it's a metaphysical analogy. It's like an allegory. Neo is no different than the Harry Potter story. It's no different than the Hercules story. It's no different than the Jesus story, because it's all talking about the hero's journey. So it's all telling you the same journey, the same course, the same path you have to travel as, quote unquote, the hero. So you go through those transformations, transmutations, it's going to be ups and down periods. So any good story, any good epic follows that hero's journey guideline, follows it. Star Wars, all of it. It goes by, and it's an ancient science. It's a science that's old as time. Y'all hear my son in there. See, that's my baby boy. He the Aries. And he be running the house. He don't play. So when he mad, everybody gonna know. Everybody gonna know when he mad. Everybody gonna know. Yes, I will say this live, and I will post the live. So I will put it up on the page for sure. Yep, Lion King. So whenever a story follows, those concepts, it's those lessons in it. You know what I mean? So it's teaching us. It's teaching you about what's within you, what you're capable of, Even when you get to talking about the zodiacs, all the zodiacs are within you. You have to deal with all aspects of the zodiac. You're not just that sun sign. You're not just dealing with that moon and that rising. No, you got to deal with all the zodiacs. That's why the 13th sign is the serpent bearer, because then you bearing the serpent. Because if you conquer all your signs, if you defeating the 12 gatekeepers, if you conquering that, then you raising up that dragon or the snake, the serpent state. That's your kundalini energy. So that's your ascension. So that kundalini, that snake, that serpent, that's your higher power. But we've been taught, that the snake carries a negative connotation. So subconsciously, we back away from it. Subconsciously, we don't want to deal with it. That's the program. It's like an operating system. It's like if you don't work on your programming, right? You can't run a Windows PC program on an Apple computer, because it's not the same operating system. So it's the same thing with your mind. That's why a lot of people run into so many obstacles when they start trying to do the law of attraction, when they start trying to manifest, because you got to reprogram first. You got to dig. You got to get all that gook out, like all of the self-hate that's been programmed in us, because we don't know that it's there. We don't know that it's present. You feel me? Yeah. We don't know that it's present. We don't know that it's there. So as we get older, though, we typically supposed to grow out of those patterns, grow out of those ways, but we don't always do that. And that's how you get people, they get more held up. So, it's all about the lesson. See, one thing about astrology, you can't make it into a religion. You have to keep it as a tool. Because if you make it a religion, you're going to start to lean on it like a crutch. And you can't say, well, this has happened because my Venus is in Pisces. You can't do that. It's not a cop-out. Because, see, now that you know, no, you have to balance that. So you need to study, okay, well, what's Venus in Virgo? What's the opposite of that? What's the polar opposite? Because you have to balance. That's what your karma is. You just gotta balance it all out at the end of the day. So once you get that balance, you balancing it out like that, then you're able to stand on your square. You're able to, be your true self and not be swayed and ruled over by the gods, because the gods is the planetary alignments. So if you can override that, because it's all your ego is, you override that, then you are at a God status. That's how you reaching your divinity, because you overpowering your ego. See, we all being in this meat suit, being human, naturally sets us back. We already set back. We gotta fight. See, that's why Jesus rode into Bethlehem on the donkey. He rode in on the ass. The donkey was symbolizing he's riding his lower self. He's conquered his lower self. Remember, he had already went out and did the fasting, and the devil was talking to him. Remember, all this is symbolic. It's allegory to you. It's all symbolic to you. So him riding in, preparing for his crucifixion, because he had conquered his ego. So he's ready to ascend. He's ready to take his energy up. You know what I'm saying? So, yep, the gods is under us. And now, if we're being real, yes. Because the original element or the original makings of the universe is what's within us. That's what makes us up. That's what they say is your euromelanin. That's what that is. So what makes a baby? So, that's pretty much a big bang when you make a baby. The minute when that sperm fertilizes that egg, it's a big bang that's happening inside the womb. Creation. See, that's why they say the woman is God. You say the black woman because you're talking about the original woman. So that's why they say that, because you got to look at the whole birthing process is the birth of humanity at the end of the day. Yeah, meat soup. But yeah, so naturally, like I say, just us being in the vessel, this is how you bind to God. This is how you feel. You a human now. You don't fell into gross physical matter. You looked at this shit and said, damn, that's nice. That's beautiful. Let me go experience that. You got here and forgot. That's what you chose to came down here and do. It's like Inception. Remember on Inception when they went down to the 3rd level and they forgot and they got old and didn't realize they was in a fucking dream world the whole time? He had to convince her, no, you gotta die so we can wake up where it's real. But that's how he knew Inception was real. Because when she woke up, she still was believing, yo, we gotta die so we can go to the real world. But in reality, that is really waking up. That is real. Your greatest escape is death. That's the way that your spirit, your soul truly does escape, because you're no longer in your vessel. But you came here to do something. So you can't forget that you came here with a purpose. You came here to do something. Now, some people came here some people might have came here for an experience that you might disapprove of, because it's necessary for the growth of their soul. So you might look at a prostitute or a homeless person. You feel sad, you feel empathy for them, but it might be something that has to do with their path for their soul or their growth. Now, I ain't saying to make it fair, because that's us looking at it from a human standpoint. But when you're looking at it from a soul standpoint, it's different, and everybody can't, you know what I'm saying, maintain that balance. So it's like Westworld. On Westworld, they were at an amusement park. You had robots not realizing that they were robots, repeating lives over and over, having to experience things over and over and over. And they was experiencing even different things. It was registering. So think about it like a soul, over and over and over, experiencing things, not remembering. Yo, Westworld is deep. You really want to understand narcissism, watch Westworld. It's deep. It got to the point where even the robots some of them didn't even know that they were robots. Like, it gets deep for real. So if you can get through Westworld, you into narcissism, Westworld is the one. Isis put Osiris back together, bound together, mummification. Right. Yep, physical body is just the avatar. The incarnation we may have seen in this, so you believe in this incarnation we may have seen in this physical body. I don't know what you mean. I don't think so as far as in the body. No. I mean, this may be your last time here in a body. You may be going on to, you might be done after this. I don't know. Yep, Isaac Newton was an alchemist. I did an occult breakdown. He was the last probably modern scientist that we know of that was actively expressed as an occultist, because right at that period of time, that's when they started to associate the occult and alchemy, anything aligned with that nature. They started to make that a derogatory thing, so a person couldn't advance if they were into the occult. So I tell people, when you go to history, right, when you look at history, your secret organizations and all that just came, it really came about because you couldn't have this information out front because the church was running things. So if the church is running things now, like you thinking about conquering, you got the what's it called, the Crusaders and all of that now. So think about the time period. You couldn't just be actively just out here being whatever you wanted to be. So you had to be speaking in a code. You had to do things in a different way. Now, yeah, of course, you have certain figures or what have you that utilize this, take this knowledge, pervert it, and do certain things with it. But you never should put that on the knowledge. In my opinion, it's not the knowledge. It's like blaming a gun for somebody. It's not the gun. It's the person. You feel what I'm saying? So it's you. When knowledge can be powerful, you know, especially the right information at the right time. It can start wars, right? So information is very powerful. So the wrong people with the right information, or you get the right people with the right information, you know, or the right people with the wrong information. So it's all in how you do it. It's all in how you approach it. So I feel like personally, we got to look at it that way, because that's still our power. That's still our science. So for us to just turn it over to them because we don't like what they doing with it, I don't really dig that, when we supposed to use the science for ourselves. That's how I see it. I feel like the science is ours. So if we using the science and we transforming and we ascending, everything is going to correct itself anyway. But a lot of us are still like caught up in the religious aspect of it. So I'm trying to bridge that gap. Honestly, that's what I'm doing. I'm trying to bridge that gap. So I'm going to give you the other side. You know, somebody say it's devil's advocate, but I'm going to give you what they're not going to tell you, because there's probably a lot of answers in what they're not trying to tell you. And a lot of people talk about, you know, the stuff we talk about, say it's pseudo or whatnot. But the CIA really has files on this stuff. Like the CIA really has files on aliens. They really have files on psychic projects and all type of stuff. Like you can look all of this up. So cognitive dissonance, we can't do nothing about that. Some people we're going to have to leave behind. Going through a rebirth in the center. I believe that too, bro. Yeah, I believe that too, man. Absolutely. So, but that's how I pretty much see it, though. They exiled Galileo. I didn't even know that, bro. I'm going to have to look into that. I didn't know they exiled Galileo. But yeah, so when history took a turning point, when the church took over, when things switched over to Christianity, all that information got put out the window. And then when you start to look, right, all those, when you look into them secret organizations, a lot of the information came from Muslims. You feel me? It came from India because they had to get it from them other cultures, man. So just look deeper. Just look deeper. Things aren't always what they seem. You know, they aren't always what they seem. What y'all think about Atlantis? Y'all believe in Atlantis? I be looking into Atlantis and Lemuria, Mu. I look into all of that. And then if you look, like all the occultists, like the big occultists was talking about this stuff. And it's like, why was nobody else talking about these things? So I approach it that way. You know, I approach it that way. It's the age of the Aquarius, Great Reset, it's Euro creation story. I believe that too. Communion, Great Reset. Yep. So that's why when sometimes people be like, we should do this, because I've looked into the prophecies and it's what says what has to come to pass. I'd be like, we really don't have to do nothing. It's gonna happen. It's gonna correct itself. That's why sometimes I feel like I'm way more spiritual than most religious people, because I don't know. That's just how I think it. I feel like they just have to keep us afraid. Like if they keep our fear in the overdrive, You know, that it'll keep us low, because sometimes people can't even think outside of their survival, outside of their self, you know, and it's by design. Yep, it's definitely collapsing. A lot of people seeing a lot of stuff in the sky. Man, there's a lot going on out here. They can't keep hiding it. They really can't keep hiding it. Yep. So, but yeah, they definitely gonna pull out all the stocks, man. We just can't buy into none of their. Don't buy into none of their fear mongering, because they want to project it on us so we can manifest it. Yeah, it is weird. We the elders and teachers. It is, bro. It is. But you know, man, they getting a lot of people putting out a lot of knowledge, man. People getting younger and younger. I'm seeing a lot of young people on this, like on TikTok. It's so many young people that's like just getting into this. Like it's a different world. It's a different world. You just gotta get out there and find your tribe. That's what I realized. Get out there and find your tribe. The Sahara Desert in connection with Atlantis. I'm gonna have to check into that. I never heard. Let me see, the Sahara Desert in Atlantis. I'm gonna check that out. The spiritual destruction that sexual assault does to a man. How can one recover? I just did a post. I did a YouTube video on the sacral chakra, which is basically what sexual trauma, what part of your energetic body sexual trauma attacks. And I don't know if we know this, but 1 in 6 males are sexually, abused before the age of 18. 1 in 4 women, or 1 in 4 females, and 1 in 6 males. So even though there's not as much of a stigma when it comes to it happening to boys, but it's just as bad happening to boys, and it messes them up sexually, it messes them up in relationships, and it affects everybody. So a lot of us have a lot of sexual trauma. A lot of us. And a lot of us have a lot of work to do on our sacral chakra. A lot of us have a lot of work to do in that area. And that same area has to do with your confidence. It has to do with your creativity. But again, it's another lower chakra. So what happens with males, when that trauma afflicts that area, it makes it harder for them to relate to women on a higher level than the sacral chakra. So they can only think about relating to a woman through sex. Instead of, they can't go higher. It's harder for them to go higher and get to the love, to the love center, or get to the third eye center and truly see a woman. So they find themselves in a lower vibration. They only able to relate through sex and sex alone. So a lot of times that's what happens. That's what happens a lot of times. Let me see. How do we heal from sexual trauma? Ooh, man, it's a lot to unpack, bro. It's a lot to unpack. It takes a lot of work, because your self-worth is inflicted. Like I said, your confidence, the sexual energy in itself, your creative energy, that's your life force energy. Your sexual energy is your life force energy. So we wonder why we see, people talk about sex rituals and things like that, and them doing, bad things sexually. When it comes to that, that's why, because sexual energy is life force energy. So they just trying to siphon off their energy. So it's messed up. But that's what happens, But I'm putting together a whole chakras, like, course. Chakras and shadow work through astrology and shadow work through numerology. There's 3 areas I worked in a lot. I utilize numerology, astrology, and working with my chakras. So a lot of that helped my foundation in my own religious patterns, like what I do religiously to keep myself balanced, But I definitely plan to share a lot of that with y'all. How do I unblock my throat chakra? I had this a lot. Also, you can work with crystals, right? So you can work with gemstones. And the reason why, always remember, anything that you use is always a tool. It's always giving you an extension of yourself. So it's an idea of you in something that's external, that's for you. So gemstones and crystals work off frequency. They are from the earth. so they can help to balance you out. But it's important that you make sure that you keep your chakras clean. So when it comes to your throat chakra, it's mostly about speaking your truth. It's about speaking your truth and not being as caught up in the acceptance in what you say, you know, because what can happen when you got a blocked throat chakra is you can refrain from expressing your truth because other people not going to accept it. And so it turns back on you, and that energy comes back on you. And what can happen is it can start to affect your thyroid. You can have problems with your thyroid, and as a woman, it can lead to problems with your cycle, because your throat and all that is going to affect your sacral. So, I mean, because everything is interconnected. Everything is interconnected. So, and that energy can push back down. Because remember, the energy is supposed to rise up. So, the energy can push back down. Yep, be an alchemist and destroy the victim angle. So, alchemy is my thing, man. You know, I totally agree, man. Alchemy is my thing. Because it's a whole mindset. It's a whole way of being. It's, like I say, it's like, it's a shift in your mind. So, it's no longer just this dual world anymore. It's a world of so many possibilities. You know, it makes you so intuitive. I don't know. Probably because I just do a lot of work on myself. And with work on myself, I feel like when you know yourself, you know others. It makes it so you can relate to others, you know. Because see, what happens is, and I'm telling myself this constantly, because because I don't know how this is going to go, you know. I don't know where this platform is going to take me, but I always tell myself, one thing I don't want to do is get into a place where I'm lying to myself, because then I'm dealing with illusion, you know. Because if I get to a place where I have to lie to myself to go on, then I ain't me no more. That's like me selling my soul. You know, that's like me, because selling your soul is like taking your true self out. That's like taking the truest form of who you are, taking it out, right? So if I get to a point where I'm in a position and I have to lie to myself so that I can maintain a position or so that I can survive or whatever, I'm not me no more. Y'all should know that I'm not me no more. I won't be me no more. The trauma that gaslighting does, oh my God. Gaslighting. Whoo. It's a form of mind control, bro. Gaslighting is a form of mind control. The whole thing, gaslighting, the term itself, comes from a movie that was about a man trying to convince a woman that she was crazy. So, I feel like society naturally gaslights us naturally melanated people. Just society gaslights us. But I feel like it's our fault. I feel like it's our fault because we continue to ask other people to verify our reality. And I think that's where we go wrong here. We need to stop telling folks to see us and stop asking people to see us. We shouldn't do that. I think that's why we are always in a position to be manipulated, because we are seeking for them to do a corrective action. And as long as you're doing that, hell yeah, they can gaslight us. You know, so I think that's the problem. We need to stop wanting other people to hear us, to see us. You know, I think we need to see ourselves and build off ourselves, but that's a lot. That's a lot to unpack, bro. That's a lot, because that self-hate is embedded in us. That whole Malcolm X scene with the dictionary and the black and white, that's really true. It's really a spell. Like, we really under a spell. This whole black and white system, the whole system, everything that we on, that's the point of the checkerboards. This whole shit is a spell. This whole thing is a spell. It keeps us so caught back, so hung back, and I feel like that's them just trying to delay the inevitable, you know. But this shit has to shift. Too many people out here. It has to change, you know. It has to change. I appreciate that. I feel that about it being my season. I feel that too, bro. I appreciate you. Absolutely. Do you mean coaching? I do consultations. And so as a holistic psychologist, I want to give y'all practical means to do your shadow work, to address your trauma, you know. So I do that. I got the link in my bio. I'm still rebranding the actual website how I want it to be, but it's there, you know. And I don't really like to talk about readings or sessions. So like, I can read energy, you know, I can read auras. It's not something that I talk about. It's not something that I advertise. Let me say it that way. I don't really advertise it though, because the spiritual nature of it, I don't know. Spirit say I can't advertise it like that. I don't know. I can't explain that part. But I do consultations though. I do consultations. So anytime you want to discuss further and what that entails, you can email me. We can talk about it. But, oh yeah, the books. Listen, so the book, right? The Guide to Self-Mastery is an introduction to alchemy. It's a good way for you to get an understanding of what alchemy is, what shadow work is. Because if you look up alchemy, right, there's a physical, external, or exoteric version. And there's an esoteric version that's talking about things that's happening within you. The exoteric is talking about actual physical. So I kind of try and tie the two in for you and kind of, you know, bring out steps. But the book is really an introduction to this frame of thought. Because the most important thing you're going to change is your mind. That's why people that's magicians have altars. See, think about the word altar. Like your altar. Altar means to change, to transform. So when you create an altar, it's like literally a reminder. You're trying to alter your mind. You know? So, and then the numerology book, we're gonna start doing more of the numerology, like really like as far as making it applying to your life, so that way people can like really know how to utilize it. But the book is a great introduction because, like I said, the most important thing for people to remember that I think when you're dealing with alchemy is the symbology. So everything is symbols. You know, so everything that's being shown to you is still through symbols. So when you see symbols, know that that thing is talking to your subconscious. So when people make a logo, right, even though it's just pictures or whatever, it's speaking to your subconscious. So when you go to the gas station and at the sit-go and it got a pyramid, it's not a coincidence, you know. So the symbology is the most important thing. It's talking to your subconscious. And it works on your DNA. Because we know that this occurs. See, that's why I made the meme. That's why I made the meme video. Because if we can understand that ideologies can infect our minds like that, then, you know, again, that's another form of mind control. So the foods they give us, everything that they put in our deodorants, our toothpaste, you know, everything we seeing on TV, everything we learning in school, the schedules that we are on, all of it is a subtle way of just dimming your mind, making it more for mind control. You know, I mean, it's the government. They govern your mental, govern your mind, you know. We just gotta be aware. No, alchemy isn't light work. It's not, bro. It's not. And it gets ugly. I'm gonna tell y'all the truth. It gets ugly when you have that dark night of the soul. It's ugly. It's ugly because you looking at yourself. You gonna face the ugliest things about yourself, the darkest things about yourself, and for some people that manifests as something physically dark. For some people, you see yourself and you don't like what you see. I'm telling you, you're not gonna like what you see, but you gotta find a way to embrace it. You gotta find a way to embrace it. Let me see if I can find a good way to. Moana. When he took her heart, right? She changed, right? When she got her heart back, right? She returned back to what she was. So when her heart was gone, that's like your shadow self. You feel me? That's your shadow. But there was a reason for that. So always remember that your trauma is what shapes your shadow. So all your trauma you've been through is your shadow. Every time that somebody told you something that made you feel like you was worthless, that's your shadow. So every time you hear them same thoughts in your head where they said that, that's your ego. That's your shadow self. That's what you have to pull out. You have to pull that out and bring it into light. Something good to do. My husband did this and I shared it, right? Write a letter to your inner child. apologize to your inner child. Apologize to your inner child for all the times you went off on yourself. For all the times you beat yourself up. For all the times that, you told yourself that you was worthless. For all the times that, for all of that, write a letter to your inner child. And think about it. And if you have kids, see, that's why parenthood is one of the greatest initiation paths ever on the planet in today's time. Because if you have a child, the way you treat your child is the way you treat your inner child. So if your child do something and you get mad at your child and lash out at your child when they do something wrong, that's how you treat your inner child. That's how you treat yourself, yo. So when you do something, you be like, damn, that was so stupid. That's how you treating your inner child. So imagine it, right? The world is already hard enough, right? And you yourself are beating your own self up. It's going to make it 10 times harder for you to push through whatever you're working through. 10 times harder. So it is what it is, But, but see, when you do the work, it's just acknowledging, because you're not going to get rid of it. You're not going to get rid of your ego. You're not going to kill your ego. You can't do that. You need it. You have to have it to survive. It's part of your human experience. But you can't let that motherfucker drive the car. Your ego can't be driving the car, though. You can't do that. You don't let the ego be in control, because the ego is rooted in fear. So everything that is unknown, the ego is always going to convince you to not do what you should do, because it doesn't like to be uncomfortable. It doesn't like the unknown, because your ego has to do with your humanity. So, But yeah, you can't get rid of the ego. The ego is like having a thumb. So it's what makes humans humans. So you can't not have an ego. But you do have to tame your ego. And you do that through embracing, yeah, all your insecurities is in your ego. All your fears is in your ego. So when you face yourself and bring yourself down and realize, damn, I do worry about it. Well, why? It's literally reflection. It's literally reflection, but it's hard. I'm trying to tell y'all, it's so hard. It's so hard. People will do so many things just to avoid dealing with themselves. And we create that illusion. That's why the ego is so dangerous. That's why they see the ego as the devil. That's why they say the devil is a liar. Because your ego is creating an illusion to make you think that this is your choice, your only choice, and all that there is. But it's because it's operating from fear. So when people say you either operate from fear or love, that's what they mean. You either at your lower state or you at your higher state. That intro book from it's on. You can click the link in my bio. It's called A Guide to Self Mastery. If you want the hardback or the paperback, it's on Amazon. There's an Amazon link in my bio. At the top, it's like, but you gotta click on the icon and you can find it on Amazon. But if you wanna just get the ebook, we have it for $7.77. It's on cosmic-paradox.com. So you can get it there, or you can just go to the link in my bio. What about anxiety? Well, anxiety is worrying about the future. So anxiety is when you're stuck in a place that doesn't exist. That's your imagination working against you. So your imagination is so powerful. So you're imagining your worst case scenario. You're imagining your fears, and you don't want to be in that place, but your body is responding to it because your mind is there. It's just like they say in the Matrix, the body can't live without the mind. If you die in the Matrix, you die in real life. So if your mind is there, your body is there. So if in your mind, you in a place where, damn, I don't want this right here to happen, and you start thinking about it, your body reacting to it just like that now. So now your body pumping adrenaline. So now your body releasing cortisol. Now your immune system is lowering down because you're not using these things that your body pumping out, because it's just your body reacting because your mind telling it to, that's how the limbic system works. So now you're generating emotion in your body, energy and motion. But what motion are you generating? Is it self-destructive? Or is it something that's going to build something positive? So most of the time, though, when you talk about anxiety, so now you're in a place of stress, and it's not a form of a good stress. So now you're stressing your body, you know. So now you're in a place where you can get sick, you know, because it lowers your immune system. All these things happen in the body. The body is a machine, you know. You gotta remember this just a vessel. It's not gonna last forever, you know. So I try to drop a little bit, man. I've been studying this stuff for so long, and it's helped me a lot, and it helped a lot of other people. So, you know, if I understand it, I feel like I have to share it, man. I feel like I have to. If the way I understand it, I feel like I'm doing a disservice if I don't. Like, I'm doing a disservice. So an empath is somebody who can feel other people's emotions. They can feel other emotions, period. In their environment, they can pick up stuff in their environment. They absorb. So empaths, like, it's just hot in here. But you can come if you want to. So when it comes to an empath, you want to talk about being an empath? So it's different for different people. Different people are different levels, you know. So when you're an empath, if you go around somebody, especially if you have a connection with them, if something's bothering them, you know it's bothering them. You may even absorb it from them if you're not careful, if you don't know how to have boundaries. If you are hypersensitive, then you don't have no boundaries, and whoever you go around, you could just be absorbing them, and it can just be a lot on your body. So you got to develop energetic boundaries. So that's like a value, self-worth type of thing. So when you get them boundaries, it'll be easier for the cut off, you know. But without the boundaries, then you won't know. It'll be like absorbing. So we got to remember, it's like X-Men. You know how when they get their powers, or when they have their powers and they fucking shit up until they learn how to use their powers? That's us. We out here manifesting and attracting all this negative because we don't know no better. So we just using our powers and we don't know no better. You know what I'm saying? But so if you're an empath, I recommend the gemstone. I don't want to say, not obsidian. Don't do obsidian. What's the stone we recommend for empaths? Black tourmaline. Black tourmaline. Carry black tourmaline with you. Carry it with you. It can help you because instead that stone can absorb. So black stones usually absorb negativity. So, but the thing about obsidian is very powerful, and it absorbs and it can like give back off. So if you're not like really into energy, obsidian might be a little too much, but black tourmaline is a good one. Black tourmaline is a good one to use. It can help you to like neutralize that energy.
It's supposed to be the most powerful overall.
The black tourmaline? Yeah. So I recommend trying that.
So
but
you get the crystal Bible too, man.
Oh yeah, the crystal Bible breaks down a lot about the crystals. My bad, y'all. The cover gone. See, we go on these books, but it breaks down everything about the crystals. And it tells you the science behind the crystals, you know, what make crystals and all of that and everything.
Yeah,
so,
what astrology sign is tied into and everything.
All of that. Yeah. So, you know, this is a good resource to have right here, the crystal Bible.
So when we start making our candles, we're going to put those in there.
Yeah. See, you revealing too much. We ain't told people, but you good.
So,
but because what we're doing is we're working on candles. We got a candle business. And, our candles are going to have herbs and essential oils and crystals. So they're going to correlate with chakras and with zodiac signs. So we're going to have that for y'all soon. What crystal can help with look? Well, what kind of look? Depends on what kind of look. And somebody asked me about that throat chakra. The gemstones you can use is sodalite. What's another one? I need my daughter. My daughter is like a little crystal, a little dictionary. She know the crystals. We've been talking about our daughter talking to people a lot too. She's 15. Well, she'll be 15 in October. And if y'all think I'm a trip, y'all should talk to her. Y'all should hear her. She's a lot. I mean, she be teaching me, and I love it. I love it. She be teaching me. What are these question things down here? My bad. I didn't even see these. Secrets of Antarctica. Man, that's the Antarctica. Have y'all ever seen Attack on Titan? I think it's like Attack on Titan. I do tarot readings. Shoot me an email, and if you specifically want to do some tarot. So yeah, tarot, numerology, astrology,
birthday charts.
Yeah, I do it. Your name, Hebrew. I'm extensive into the Hebrew studies. So when it comes to your name, the numerology connected to Hebrew, all of it, man. Because if it's like I say, it's so many useful things. What I realize is psychology, right? Psychology is the mainstream version of the occult because it studies the mind, right? So when you talk about the occult being hidden, right? So we know how our minds and our thoughts work, but we can't see them. So psychology take a lot out of the occult, and it's like the mainstream watered down version. All your self-help books come from occult principles. All of them come from occult principles. Every last one of them. They're not gonna tell you that because they don't want you to know it that way. But I'm so raw. I'm raw. I'm not gonna hold it back. This is my daughter Amaya. Oh, hello. So I'm not gonna hold back on y'all. I'm just gonna give it to you and tell you where you can go study it. You know, the books that I mentioned earlier. Where can we get them? You can get my book. You can go to the website to the ebook. I don't know if y'all like ebooks. I prefer a book in my hand, but it is on Amazon. So the link in my bio, it's an Amazon link at the very top. It's an icon. You can just tap it and it'll show you both of the books. That's funny. Let me, I was thinking that we might do some numerology readings. So, but we got to keep it limited. Like, I can't do a lot. But, if anybody want a numerology reading, a life path reading, drop your birth date. I need your full birth date. And we can do some numerology readings. And we can build from there. Yeah, I prefer to have the hardbacks. I have hundreds of PDFs, but if I can get the paperback, the hardback, the book in my hand with a spine, I prefer it because I'm a Virgo, and I got a lot of Virgo energy. So I'm very detailed. I like to write notes. I make stickers. I write all in that joint. I'm highlighting. I do all of that. So, Juice, come help me with these things, babe.
What?
These readings. Come here. How important is our zodiac sign? It has some importance it has some importance as how you can utilize it in your shadow work. Okay, 5/1/1996. This is the first one I see. So May 1st.
That's a 31-4.
Okay, so with this 31-4,
she dealing with stability, patience. She got to learn to work at a step-by-step process. Basically, she could have like knee or back problems. 4 is all about foundation. You could have moved around a whole lot early on in your life. What else with 4 energy?
Could be stubborn. Yeah,
it could be very stubborn. If it's something that you want, nothing to keep you from getting it as a 4. Then they had a 3, so they sensitive to light, smell, food. If it's too hot or cold, literally everything about your environment play a factor as a 3. You got the power to uplift people, to scroll them with what you say to them. And what you've been to 3, you got to watch for addiction. So you can get addicted to like sex, food, drinking, smoking, everything that applies to the senses. You can get addicted to it. You always got to learn to balance it out with your energy.
And you can involve third parties a lot when you're not able to express yourself.
Yeah, especially when it comes to like relationships and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then they're 1-2, so they can have confidence issues. Very, very creative, good at like literally everything they do. But when they find something that they can't do, it'll put them in. They can get into like basically a place where they. Man, I'm trying to find the words right now. Look.
Where they can be in like a slump, like they can have a block.
A slump, you can fall into a place where they're like it's hard for them to get out of bed. Most of the time, the ones when they find something that they can't do, it's based off the way it was presented to them. So it might not even be them; it might be the person that showed it to them.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So literally, they just got to keep trying, and once they get to the point where they get it, they'll do this shit better than the people that actually taught them or the person that tried to teach them.
Yeah.
But
y'all dropped a lot of birthdays up
here. That's right.
I appreciate y'all.
I give them to you so you can just read them in. I'm about to get back on the game.
How you gonna leave me? Okay, all right, but it's cool. It's cool. I just wanted her to do at least one reading because he the number man. He do the numbers. He spit them joints out like it's nothing. So I know that's he mastered it like for real. 7/26/89. So that's 8, 7, 15, 10, 25, that's 17.
So 45, So 45?
25%.
45 or 30?
Wait. I gotta find it again. 7, 2, 9, 6. That's 15. 25, 89. That's 17. What's 25 plus 17?
It's 43.
Okay, so you're 43.7.
Yeah. You got trust issues.
All right, and it's KK Tay. Oh no. I'm sorry, wrong person. Koso Binti. Okay. So yeah, for you. So that's a what? 43.7. Yeah, trust issues.
So trust issues. They gotta learn to open up.
Yes, you gotta trust.
They've been hurt a lot though, so like they
you've been betrayed.
They put a wall up like when they meet people. So basically, people gotta like basically get them to take their walls down. But once they get you to take your walls down, they get your loyalty, and you will literally do anything for them. Like you literally kill for that person at that point in time, for real.
Yeah.
The way you are.
But if they cross you,
but if somebody cross you, you're very strategic in the way that you move. Like you'll be the type of person that'll be like sitting outside in the bushes, watching the person leave, come back. You'll know exactly, you know what I'm saying, when to strike. And only way they will know that you did it is if literally you want them to know the way that your energy moves. Like sevens are very strategic, and they could be real low vibration when they get put within that place.
In that place. But it's because y'all really have a strong spiritual calling. You know what I'm saying? Because your lesson, your lesson is that you supposed to trust yourself. See, you gotta trust your intuition because you probably seen a red flag before that person did what they did, but you didn't trust what you felt. Yeah, and you might have went on with it anyway.
That's the main thing with sevens. Like they
trust
gotta learn to trust themselves.
Trust your intuition
and what you feel.
Because your whole path is about learning or realizing God in you. See, you can seek a lot of outside validation when you really already be knowing, but you just don't want to accept that you already be knowing. Let me see. Supreme mathematics and numerology. Well, I mean, as far as supreme mathematics, it's kind of a little different. It's different, but it's not. What would you say?
It is different. Cause, I mean, I looked into that so long ago.
Yeah.
Man. Like I done looked into so much shit. I done forgot
because
half of the stuff I know. Like,
it's pretty much based off principle. You know, it's pretty much based off principle. So, I would probably have to revisit the supreme mathematics if I'm really being honest.
Yeah, it's been about 10, 15 years when we was on that.
It's been a little minute. It's been a little minute, but it is a different system. But it's like it's more like I say, it's the same because it's still a principle based system, but it's different because it's just based off of something that's different, you know. But it's still helpful. It's still useful. Don't get me wrong. But oh my goodness. All right, let me see. Let me do another one. Don't say I ain't warn you. 2/15/1981.
2/15.
Yeah.
That's
3, 5,
what
8.
year?
1981. 19 plus
8 and 81. So 81.
Yeah, 81.
That'll be 2018. They got my life path.
Okay, so don't say I ain't warn you. 2022. You got the same life path as
Yeah, LeBron James, Martin Luther King, like
Shaquille O'Neal.
Yeah, you're an empath.
Monique.
Yeah, you're an empath. You like this, what she was just talking about. Like literally, you can feel other people's spirit or the vibration with them. So like, if somebody's angry, you can feel stuff on like your right side, scratches on the left side. Like it's books that basically point out exactly, you know, like what part of based off what part of your stomach that's reacting. Like you can tell exactly what emotion that the other person is going through. Literally, man. Go ahead.
2018, y'all
balance, cooperation.
Yeah. Boundaries can really be an issue for y'all. Anger, y'all can be really angry.
Can overdo it and then fall into resentment once they do too much.
Yep, that 8 is about authority, so you can really question authority. You can really hate working for other people. Because
your own power.
Right.
Yeah.
You wanna be your own thing. Yep. Yeah. You gotta, but you might have lessons in learning how to take action. So like when you see an 8, a person can even be like too passive and people taking advantage of them, especially monetarily, or they might do too much and might be too aggressive because that 8 is power. So, you know, you're a powerful empath. Powerful empath. So you face a lot of fears, man, when it goes 2010.
But tell them when they do feel like good energy in somebody's spirit though, it can feel like chills all over their body. It can feel like the best feeling in the world to them as an empath. Cause like I said, it's literally like you feel the spirit within the person. Even down to like when we get to arguing with people in past, we can already feel like we already been in a fight. Because it's literally like the spirit within us and the spirit within it's already in the attainment. You feel me? Mm-hmm. So when they get to that point, we already ready to go. Like, physically.
And if y'all want to understand more about how that works, it's a book called The Celestine Prophecy. It kind of like break down when you arguing with a person, how your energy bodies are interacting. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So eventually, like, even if you're not trying to react to a person or whatever, a person can be coming at you so much that it's attacking your energy so much that you just have an outburst because your energetic body gotta fight back. You know what I mean? So that's why I say understanding psychic and spiritual attack is very important, because we don't always realize when we're under psychic or spiritual attack, which can happen a lot. And we do that stuff and we don't always know that we doing it. You know, some people got powerful gifts and they don't know they got powerful gifts, you know, and they send all type of animosity and bad energy and whatnot your way. So you got to be you do have to protect and guard your energy. You know,
Bible always
do like the libations, right?
Which
right.
we need to start doing when you go live.
Right, too. I thought about it. I thought about that before too. Yeah. You know, because see, the thing about that too is that's removing your personal energy out of it. So we inviting that spiritual energy into the space. We inviting that type of frequency in so that the message can be relayed. You know. Okay, let me see. It's a lot of these, y'all. My bad. I'm just scrolling trying to get like one. Alright, 2/4/1991, Carlito's Way. 2/4/1991, 246 plus 20. So you're a 26/8. So who's a 26/8? I think Dame Dash is a 26/8.
Draymond Green too.
Yeah, so you have a form of perfectionism within you. Also, it's really connected to the mother because you got a 6. Mm-hmm. So that 6 is perfection. That 6 is responsibility. That 6 is the mother. It's acceptance and it's vision. So how you see your vision, everything, a lot has to do with your acceptance. So you can beat yourself down. 6s really beat themselves up about what they should feel or how they should feel or how they're supposed to react.
They so you can't do that based off society standards.
Right.
They can't do that. They gotta know that they're already unique. You know what I'm saying? It's millions of sperm cells released.
Yep.
My nigga, you the one that made it to the egg. That's literally what I tell all my 6 people.
Yep.
And I do readings with them.
Yep.
So you just gotta understand you already got a divine purpose. Live that shit. Stop thinking and worrying about everybody else.
Yep. And with that 8, you probably, are you an entrepreneur? You might be an entrepreneur. I can see it if you want to be in business for yourself, because that 8 is a CEO engine. That's your main number. So the last number is your main number. So the 8 is the CEO. You know, it's the businessman. So it can be material. You can accomplish or conquer or gain a lot of material possessions. But the key for that, though, is the way to get to that is through a higher purpose. Like when you're doing something for the good of others, then you always gonna reap the reward for it. You know, it's like the 50 Cent thing, what he did with the water, you know, and how that came back and how he ended up selling the vitamin water. He did the water thing in Africa, and then remember he sold the vitamin water. So even though 50 might do a lot of stuff that rub people the wrong way, 50 is in his energy. He moves in his element. Yeah. You know, he moves like a self-made millionaire because he's a 35/8. You know, so when you move, as long as you move accordingly, you know, it's all about your energy. You know, it's all about who and what you are. See, some people just like, you look at somebody like a Drake. Right, so when you look at Drake's chart, Drake has multiple grand trines, water grand trines. So he has strong blessings from the feminine energy. The feminine is always gonna bless him. So it don't matter how much people do not like him. The element that element is always gonna bless him, especially if he being true to himself. So when we say he being in his feelings and what he being in his element, yo. So that's why he being rewarded. That's why you got to be true to who you are. That's a good question, Wes Kevin Gates. That's a good. I'm gonna look that up. I'm gonna look his birthday up after this. My husband, he gonna look him up right now. Let me see. I'm gonna do another one real quick. Okay, Yang God 369 7/15 1993. Some of them look. It's a lot to scroll through. You might have to post it again. But 7/15 1993. So let me see 7. So that's 31. You're a 31-4 too.
I'm talking about Kevin Gates.
Oh, Kevin Gates is 31-4.
Kevin Gates got Kevin Hart, Nicki Minaj.
No, Kevin Hart like me.
Hold on, I'm sorry. Okay, so my bad.
Russell Westbrook is a 31-4. Nicki Minaj is a 31-4.
Nicki Minaj.
Drake is a 31-4. Who else is a 31-4? Tupac was a 31-4.
Nicki Minaj.
So they say a 4 is a hard worker too. So 4s can get tunnel vision. That's why they say a 4 is a stubborn energy, because it's all about stability. So 4s can really be into what they into, and it can be hard for them to get out of it. So even if you're in a situation that you might need to leave, it could be hard for you because you get stuck in that routine. So the 4 also got to do with commitment. It also has to do with commitment. So if you struggle with commitment, it can go back to that energy related into that 4. So if you struggled in your childhood or in your position in your family, because 4 people can struggle with their position in their family. You know, like maybe being the baby, or you know, being the oldest, or what have you, whatever the case may be. They can struggle with that sometimes, because it's all about 4's patterns. You know, it's process. So do not skip any steps. So whatever you are trying to build, you don't skip steps, because if you skip steps, you're going to have to repeat it and do it again, because your lesson is in the process itself. So always be confident in what you're trying to do, but steer your course even when things aren't going as fast, even when it's not moving at the pace you want it to. You have to stick to the plan. Stick to the plan. Do not get off course. Don't give it up too soon, because then that's how you'll miss out, because again, your lessons in commitment, stability, and process. All right, let me see. Kevo the GOAT 116.98. Let me see, 6, 7, 8 plus. Let me see, that's 18. What's 18 plus 17? 16. That's 35. So you're 35.8. All right, so I just talked about 50 Cent, Kevo the GOAT, my bad. So you a 35.8, bro. You a self-made millionaire. That's Ludacris got this energy. 50 Cent got this energy. All you gotta do is decide you want something and put all your energy into it, and you gonna have it. But you have to take action. You have to take action. Whatever you decide you want to do, take action, because it can be easy for you to talk yourself out of doing something you're supposed to do to make that thing real. So take action. It's lessons in taking action. Don't be passive, because you can miss your opportunity like that. See, always remember that 8. When you turn that 8 sideways, it look like infinity. So it go on and on and on and on. That's why it's like it can be acquired material possession. So, just and think about it in this way too. Whatever you putting out thought wise is always what's gonna come back to you too. You know what I'm saying? So it go both ways. You feel me? Let's see. Ace Kennels 5/3/92. So that's 5/3 is 8 plus. Let's see, 18 plus 11, 29. Is that what did I say? 5/3/92. Ace Kennels too. So what?
Oh yeah, it is 29.
29/11. Okay. So 29/11. Find it interesting when I do 29/11. 29/11 is Michael Jordan, Kyrie Irving. Who else is 29/11? D Wade. 29/11. So 29/11 with the 2, you dealing with cooperation and balance. So you can have a lot of issues around giving and taking. You can overgive to people and fall into a resentment when they take advantage, when they take too much. You can have issues around abandonment. You can have issues around the father. You can deal with things related to abuse. Not necessarily to say that you were abused, but things could have affected you in your thinking process to like what you think, like in terms of a person that's dealt with abuse. So it could be verbal abuse, it could be emotional abuse, like I said, it could be rooted in abandonment. But with an 11, you deal with a lot of intuitive energy, because that 11 is also a 2. So, and the 2 is very dark. It's intuition. It's the dark side of things. So you can absorb people, especially when stuff go on with your family, people you love. You can absorb them in, and that's not a good thing. That's why, it's important that you work through trauma like abuse, because you just take on, it's about assimilating.
I was about to say, you do got to point it out, like with the 2911, like they could have been abused either physically, emotionally, or somebody like could have just verbally. Like,
even if it was a short period of time or something, it can really just
most of them go through some type of abuse early on in their life.
And so, you got to work with the confidence, because with 2 ones, it's confidence. So you got to astounding amount of creativity.
Ones make the best athletes. Most NBA, most of the people that's won the NBA championship, they got ones in their numerology.
Yep.
Except for Tim Duncan. He's the only one. Tim Duncan a 7. Yep. 43-7. Everybody else got ones. Kobe, everybody.
Yep.
LeBron, Jordan, everybody.
Because LeBron 2018, Kobe 38-11. So but so that 11 is very powerful. Like when you looking at Kabbalah, when you looking at the tree, it's 10 spheres, but there is a hidden sphere that you don't see, and that's the 11th sphere. So it's like the abyss. So you can go through the abyss. Remember 11 in Stranger Things? She opened up the portal to the upside down where her name was 11. She was L. So it's not a coincidence, But you double one, so you definitely can struggle with the confidence, and because you're so creative. You're such a natural leader, you have to be confident to do these creative things. So you have to be confident to put yourself out there to do something that somebody else might not be doing. Absolutely, Doc. Absolutely. Yep, Kobe. I feel they broke the seal when Kobe died. Man, everything changed with Kobe. Everything changed with Kobe. And when Dave Chappelle did that stand up and he said all that he said about Kobe, I didn't even make the connection or the correlation when that whole thing happened in Ferguson and Kobe scored all them points. I didn't even realize it, but it definitely seemed like it was something up with it. It definitely seemed like it, but they definitely take a lot of people out too soon. We will say that, but I don't think they can't stop what has to come though. I don't think they can stop what has to come. I don't think that.
The Yakuza family, they was a quote,
Millie Mill, you got 9990. So just looking at you and all them 9s, and my Virgo sister, I understand. My Virgo sister, I'm 9-5. So with all these 9s, you have so much completion around you. You have so much leadership around you. So let me see, 9990. Her actual number 18. Plus 10 is 28 plus 9. She's a 3710. So you're a 3710. So a 3710 is like Chris Brown.
So the music will always put in the right vibration.
Music is your key. Music is your gateway. Music is your key. 3710 is, I don't care what you're doing. If you can put on the right song, the right music, it can shift your entire mood. 7 is also connected to music. So anybody with a 7 can have a strong connection in music. Now, especially at 3710. Because with that 10, see, the 10 is like a vibration up. It's like a next level. Because, numbers go from 1 to 9. Right? Or 0 to 9. After that, you're pretty much repeating numbers. So 10 is like the first next level. So you got a 1 and a 0. You got the phallus and you got the womb. So you really can create and do something magical when you're dealing with a 10. Look at Martin Luther King. Look at LeBron James. You know what I'm saying? Look at Shaquille O'Neal. So even look at Monique. So when you're dealing with that 10, is in that way, that's the energy that it brings on. So you can get really angry. You can get really angry, but you gotta be sure to always be trusting in your intuition, trusting your instincts, because you're dealing with the betrayal. But you probably, a lot of times, you probably be mad at yourself for even letting people even get that close to you to even be able to do that to you. So a lot of times that's where your anger stems from. And so with the 3 being the expression and the beauty and connected to the arts, on top of the 7 being connected to the music, You know, that's what makes the music the thing. See, Chris Brown, I studied Chris Brown. Chris Brown is not I see Chris Brown. When I look at his numerology, even looking at his chart, I've always known he was abused. I've always known he's just touched. Like, he touched by God. Like, literally, he got like 2 or 3 yards in his chart.
Yeah, you know.
So, you know, the Hebrew, when you're dealing with the Hebrew, he got 3 yards. I think he got 3 yards. So they say a yard is like a touch from God. So he just gifted. And if you look when he do stuff, it seems like he do it with no effort, and it's good, you know. But he's dealing with severe karmic energy in everything, because he had a whole different trajectory that he could have been on had certain things not transpired early in his career. So, but you know, all right. I'm in Hotel the third. Wait, let me do this other person first. Let me do only Kamzi. 11/30/2000. So 11/30. That's, yeah. So you a 7. So you just a 7. So the good thing about having just a 7 is you just dealing with just a 7. So with the 7, it's all about trust. Everything that you dealing with, that you learning, is all about trust. What you can do is, you're very smart, you're very quick-witted, very analytical. You have no problems with, you know, being able to analyze things, but you can overanalyze. You can come to a conclusion based on your own self, and it not be enough, and you seek to make sure that that answer is someone else, so that you feel okay enough to accept it. So you have to accept that you validate what you feel enough. You validate it. That's a lot of your lesson, is knowing that you validated. So like the whole thing with the trust, you know, you gotta trust people to be who. Trust yourself. Trust yourself. Trust what you know to be true. You know, like, you can't always tell who other people are, but you know what you feel. So you gotta focus and trust yourself. So if something in you is saying, I don't know about this dude right here, like, and then, you know, even if it's like, well, I don't want to be like that. No, but something is telling you in you. It's a reason that you might not shouldn't fully trust that person. So go with it. Go with it. Go with it. The more you explore what you're feeling inside, the better you're going to be at it. The better you're going to get at discerning what your intuition is telling you, what part of you is speaking to you. But if you lack that connection, or if you struggled on that connection, then you're going to have a tough time with it.
Tell Creative Soul that I got him.
All right. Creative Soul.
Yeah.
No, it was somebody that I moved. All right, so I'm in Hotel 5/28/2000. So that's 10, 15 plus 2. So you're 178. So 178. So confidence, leadership, creativity, a lot of energy around authority. You can question authority, because you are 8. Those 8s have lessons in authority. So you're going to question other people's authority because you're trying to find your own authority. You know, your parents, your boss, teachers, whoever, you know, you can find yourself questioning them a lot, because in you trying to bring out your own authority. Because maybe somewhere in a past life, you might have overused your power. You might have been real powerful and might use your power too much. So maybe this time you have to come into balance and not overusing your power, you know, or something like that. So, and so when you do things for a higher calling, because that's how your 8's money come to them. Like, your 8's are genius CEOs, they're geniuses at running a business, right? But it just might take you a little while to get to that point where you are at that level. But when you get to that level, or if you can be in a position to be a manager or to be the boss, you know, that's ultimately like the best position for an 8, because you work best operating in your authority, you know. So I guess I'm gonna have to start. We should probably start doing these a little bit more. We working on a numerology course, so people can read them like this and know it, because even when you out and about, you doing things, the spirit is always speaking to you. The universe is always speaking to you. So if you can pick up on how it's speaking to you, then there's spiritual messages that's for you, always reassuring you or guiding you or letting you know. So you go to the store, you get a receipt, and it's 777 or whatever the case may be. So all those things, even if you read tarot, if you're a tarot reader, there's numbers in the tarot. It's six cups, you know, it's all the wands and everything. Everything correlates in a sense. Even with the zodiac, you know, you have your first house, which is the house of self. It's who you are, right? And you have one, which is all about confidence. It's all about the self. It's all about what you create, you know. So all of these things correlate, but we definitely gonna be doing these sessions, reading the numbers, just doing little free sessions weekly or what have you. So you know, but we definitely gonna build on it. But we're building a whole course on it to help people, because it'll improve so many aspects of your life. It can improve your relationships, not just with other people, but in your own relationship with yourself, and help give you some clarity, provide you, you know, with some insight. Sometimes we just like to be reassured. Sometimes we do, you know, need to know that there are others, or there are things that can assist us on this journey, on this path. You know, but it was a pleasure speaking with you all for tonight. I do apologize if I couldn't get to you for your birthday. I do plan to do this again. Y'all might have to turn the notifications on for when I go live, but I do plan to do this again. I might do it every session. I might do a couple every time I hop on the live, so we'll see. But from that, people, I hope y'all enjoyed the rest of your night. Yeah. I'm gonna go hop on the TikTok. I've never gone live over there, so I'm gonna do that over there too. But anyway, I appreciate you all for hopping on. I appreciate all the support so far. We appreciate everybody has bought a book, bought a energy report, bought everything, just donated, whatever the case may be. We appreciate y'all. If you really need to contact me, shoot me an email. It's hard to get through in the DMs, but I appreciate y'all, man. You know, just y'all stay dangerous. And I say stay dangerous because people that think like us are dangerous to the system. You know, we are dangerous to the powers that be, because we are the ones that are bringing on the shift. You know, we are lifting and raising the frequency. You know, one mind at a time, one heart at a time. So, peace, y'all.